The infestation that you're having seems to be really consistent with a lot of the infestation that we see that is normally contributed to by imbalanced moisture. You have an in-ground irrigation system and a large property. The front yard isn't having much of an infestation problem, and that's common because the front yard probably has heads that have such redundant coverage that you don't tend to have a whole lot of ignored patterns where you have really wet areas next to drier areas that are overlooked. It's also flat or flatter. The backyard has slopes and a lot of area to cover. What we typically find when we have infestation where there isn't much in the middle, where you have some scarring at the top, around the edges, and at the bottom here, is that this tends to be an area that not only probably gets hit by your irrigation, but also where you have a lot of runoff. The areas up there at the top probably have heads that are at that top, which are trying to shoot down here in more of a spout rather than a mist, and avoiding all of that area. Drying out this soil up here can really contribute to infestation just as much as having a drainage problem or oversaturation of water. Too much water or too little water next to each other are the worst recipe for infestation because both contribute to an abundance of food source, which the moles absolutely love. The area back here is a large area, and you're having a lot of infestation in this middle portion. What I would do, and I'll send you a link to a customer who has a similar problem with the same suggestion that I think is likely applicable to your property, is that when you turn your sprinklers on in the spring, make sure that you're not getting a stream of water that is just watering certain areas, because you might be missing a lot of these areas over here, a lot of areas over here, rather than having even coverage throughout the property, which is really what you want. I will forward you, or I'll attach to this one a link to a property that I think has a similar problem to you, that has an active irrigation system, to show you what I mean by streaming irrigation, improper coverage, and how that's contributing to infestation. Thank you. What we've done is we've treated your entire property to try to make it as resistant to mole infestation as possible. When really trying to maximize your effort on this, it's a very good idea to try and balance out the moisture level of your property so that you're not having too much in some areas, too little in others, so that the areas where the water is landing isn't also the runoff zone, so that you're not having so much of a worm production in these areas where you're having, up in the drier portions, a different population of food that they also love. When you have a combination of these, you tend to see infestation gather in different areas in different parts of the season. Practicing, first of all, adjusting your irrigation to correct this, to have an even application throughout the area. Watering about twice a week or so can help you maintain the right kind of moisture control, so that as we're working to push moles out of here and keep them out, you're not developing conditions that are working equally hard trying to draw them back in.